For me, the secret of meditation has been to pour it out. I was shown the example of the Dead Sea and the Sea of Galilee. The exact same source of clean, pure water pours into both of the seas. The difference is the Sea of Galilee has many tributaries that goes off from it, and it stays very much alive and life-giving. And the Dead Sea, even though it receives the same source of pure, clean water, it has no tributaries. It is stopped up, and it becomes a dead body of water. As with love, and as with meditation, and as with silence, it is a pouring, an outpouring, an increasing according to my awareness of sending it out to everyone I meet. Standing right there in the checkout line at the market, remembering, be aware here now of the presence. With that customer, with that client, or with the mate or spouse or child or parent. Be aware here now. This is where the presence of God is. When recognized, I must consciously recognize the presence of God moment by moment. And now increase a little more. Deeper into the silence than you've ever gone before. Just be. Absolutely nothing to do. Go back to conscious awareness right here, right now. Be aware. This is the true form of prayer, beyond words, beyond requesting, beyond thoughts. This is laying it all down. Increase, expand even further. And notice that you're not in the body, but the body is in your awareness. When we are in the airplane is in our awareness. That's why there's nothing to fear. This room is in our awareness. And with that, consciously start to be aware of the room, of your body in the chair. Notice how the silence is maintained, even though I can open my eyes. Begin to open your eyes. Begin to feel your feet, your hands, and start to look around the room and notice how you can be consciously aware of the silence at the same time that you can see, hear, and use the other faculties. And then you can slip right back in there, even though you're walking, talking, working, playing. You can at the same time be consciously aware of that silent womb and conscious awareness. Notice you don't have to leave the silence to come back into this earth plane. And if you want to know what God looks like, look into the eyes of the guy next to you. This is the food we crave. This is the love we crave. This is the peace we crave. And it is us. Since this is a workshop, because we can do this silence on our own all the time, we can open it up if there's anybody that would like to ask anything or share anything of what just happened with them, or anything like that.
What does breathing have to do to help or hinder getting into this silence?
Question was, what does breathing have to do? I did forget to have you breathe, didn't I? Usually I do that, make sure you keep breathing. I spend hours and I don't breathe, I know.
I assume you have to keep breathing.
You do have to keep breathing.
Deep breathing, in there faster.
Personally, my own personal experience, no, it is a tool. There's many tools that the Eastern religions use, staring at a candle, using a mantra, deep breathing, whatever will get you there. And if breathing is one of them, and taking a deep breath, in yoga practices, we, focus on the breath. And that's just simply bringing the awareness to the breath, or bringing the awareness to the light, or bringing the awareness to the words of a mantra. Whatever works. It's not important as long as you keep breathing. Something in you will keep breathing. But that is a good tool. And and again, if that, you can concentrate there to get there. I mean, it's simply, again, using that awareness faculty to go in any area there. Like we went to the knee, we went to the head, you could go to the breath. So, anything like that. All filled up? Except for days like this, there's nothing to do. Peace. So everybody will just go home and do this all the time, huh? Sure, I sure do. I never stop going. Anywhere anybody's getting silent, I never stop going. Where two or more are gathered, it's always more powerful. But another thing to remember is that always, always, always someone is meditating. So I will ask when I'm by myself, I will say, allow me to join those meditating, so that, and then I get, if I always remember it, always someone's meditating, on the planet. So. And if not, it's meditating you, so you're never alone. But it seems that way, though, when you're sitting, especially when the turmoil comes, it's like pulling it up when the mind whip starts, and to remember, oh, somebody's meditating, and if you know particular individuals, I ask to join. There's, like we and all of us, we used to say, well, at 6 a.m. we all meditate together, and it was amazing. We just asked to join the consciousness of like minds, like spirits, meditate.
Do you still do it at 6 a.m.?
I do, but everybody, yeah. I don't know who does or who doesn't anymore, but yeah. And now, and we also, for years I practiced every hour on the hour, pausing for that moment. And now I just am in it so much of the time that I've lost that little technique. I used to have techniques like whenever I'd walk through a doorway, anything I could use to remind me, to bring me into the now. Whenever I would put my hand on a doorknob, or walk through a door, or get in my car, or I used to put a little something on my hand, even a dot, and every time I would see it, it would be my moment to bring me back conscious awareness here, now. And it's, Joel talks on his tapes about 30-second meditations. That's all that is bringing myself, oh yes, how far off I get, from this moment. And it's amazing how there's never anything wrong, ever, 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 in the moment. Ever. No matter what someone's calling you with, as we work with people that start calling for everything, physical, emotional, mental, relationships, financial. Are you okay right now? No one can ever say, well, not right. It's always what this means, what it's going to be, what it wasn't, what I'm afraid I'm losing, what I'm afraid I'm not going to get I want. But am I okay right now? And then there it is, it's dissolved. Because right now, I'm fine. And right now, 10 years ago, I was fine. And 10 years from now, right now, I'll be fine. But all that other space around is spent, look how much time we spend in the not now time instead of in the now time. And that is my practice, is the now time. Practicing the now time, not the not now. But it's hard, it's, the distractions and the, it's great. It's great. But that's our job. That's our job. Being okay right now.
Okay, when we come back.
I'll meet you at 6 a.m. in the morning. But you can stay in your jammies.
Bring my friend.
Well, you don't have to be here. Join anyway. And another thing that helps is we have learned that we use the phone with each other. If you just can't get there, and many, many times I can't, I'll pick up and call somebody and just say, let's meditate, or, I need a lifting. Will you be with me? And then we'll just stop and pause right there on the phone and click in, and then it's easier to carry through. So. Any questions about the awareness exercise or anything like that? It's really handy. Good. What is your name?
Sue.
Sue. Hi. Welcome. Welcome. And your friend? I know you, don't I, Vanessa? Have I? You sure look familiar. Yeah. Well, I'm glad you could come. Thanks for coming. Good. There's a lot of new people here that haven't been before. If you want to be on my mailing list, when I do these about every I say a month, but usually 6 weeks goes by, something like that. Put your name down. If I send out a mailing one, I'm going to do one. And also, we're moving into the summer. I may have to move back to Beverly Hills, you know, because it's getting kind of, well, like 2 days ago, I got worried when it was so hot up here. I mean, I have an air conditioner, but it's just so noisy, and you know. So, you want to put your name on
Yes,
that?
I'd love to.
And just pass that around and then get one of the flyers. And just a couple announcements. Doris Crawford, who's an Infinite Ways teacher, will be giving an Easter class next Saturday out in Westlake. I started meditating with her 20 years ago, and she's an awesome meditator and experienced incredible silence with her. If you want that information, I can give you her phone number. And Easter Sunday, John Drury in Santa Monica will be doing a 3 o'clock Easter talk meditation at 18th in Arizona in Santa Monica. I don't know where everybody's from. There's a lot of activity going on this time of year, and especially Easter, moving toward Passover. All the different religious groups are slowing down, laying it down, looking at this time period when the Master laid it all down. I mean, he laid it all down, you know. And that's what we get to do in the silence, is literally lay it all down. Lay the humanhood down and pick up the consciousness that we are. And it's such representation right now, this time period, of the sacrificing the human being, the human doer. And it's a great time to live. It's an incredible time to live. Especially Easter weekend, starting Good Friday through Sunday. There's an amazing transitional energy period right now. It's awesome, and it's just a great time.
Did people just stay here and stare at you? No inclination at all to go.
I know.
Usually I do.
No reason. There's nothing to do. It's just sort of boring hanging out here in paradise. This is why people don't do it. It's like, now what'll... now what?
There's very little drama going on, you know, and
well, we'll
sort of used to it.
We'll stir it up soon enough.
I'm sure. I shouldn't say that. Shouldn't even mention.
But as you do, just whoops.
And for banter.
Be aware.
I found it to be very physical, a physical sensation upon opening my eyes and still being aware. For lack of a better term, it was like a buzz.
That's a vibration. When you get silent, and the more you increase, the more you expand, you start vibrating at a higher frequency. The only reason we see these human bodies is the frequency slows down, slows down, slows down. Now this is scientific, this is in the holographic universe. The more we meditate, we can literally increase our vibrational rate to the point where we can disappear. This is how the great Eastern Masters do that. They just meditate and vibrate to such a high frequency that they dissolve. And then they come back and they slow down the vibration. And so when you're doing that, and for me though, I get a little, sometimes they listen to it so much I get a little uncomfortable, and that's where I was told, because I said, I'm uncomfortable here. One time I was on a plane, I led a meditation in Canada, and I got on the plane and I was still in such a state of meditation. I was just expanding and expanding, and I got in this plane and I got like this huge, it started feeling like I was this huge Macy's Day Parade helium balloon, you know, and I was like, and you know, I'm getting uncomfortable here because I was, you know, high, you know, and then I heard pour, and the minute I heard pour, it popped, and I got it, that I was to release this out. I was evidently, you know, holding it somehow, and that I was to pour it everywhere I was, throughout the airport, throughout the plane, through everywhere. And when you go to get on planes, if you sit in the waiting room and you do this, before you get on, and there's children, and you go, oh, because, children are on planes, they won't cry. It's an amazing thing. If you maintain that silence and pour it and swaddle that child, it's amazing how there's no disturbance, and people quiet down, and the whole, because see, we expand it out like this, and wherever we are, whatever room we're in or whatever, if we get conscious of it and start sending it out, it just encompasses everybody we're with, and everybody just quiets down. I practice it in the makeup room on the film set, and I mean, that is high energy, Yeah, Freddie?
It's like the most amazing service that you could do. I mean, it is an amazing service that you could do, wherever you are.
That's right. There's no personality involved. You're not pushing anything on anybody. You're just simply loving. Just pouring in. And there's no little self involved. It's just allowing that spirit to flow through you and as you and out from you. And the minute you think you're doing anything, it stops just like that. The minute I think, oh, Dulcie's going to meditate now. Oh, yeah, right, gone. Doesn't happen that way. In fact, the first words I usually say is just get her out of the way. Get her out of the way. Get her out of here.
I love her, but
but I
such a chore.
That God meditate me.
That's it. Yeah, that's a real key. Yeah. It was a key for me. Pooh, that door flew open when I got that one. Yeah. Okay.
You can see where if somebody had never had experience getting buzzed artificially, that would be pretty scary.
That's right.
I mean, having used to.
what are you saying?
Never mind. For the 60s.
That's about the closest.
Oh, it can be like a trip if you, like the old days. And that's where I was corrected, because when I sober in Alcoholics Anonymous, and when I laid it all down, all that. Because I'm an escape artist. I want to out. I want to feel good. I want to feel high. I want to feel in bliss all the time. So when I first hit meditation, I was kind of using that as a high, and I was corrected real fast and shown that then I was not being conscious. That I was using it to bliss and to leave, not to stay present, and that's the difference.
It's very
That's
important.
the difference. And even in our 12-step programs, our 11th step says, sought to improve our conscious contact with God, not unconscious. And I was going to use it to go unconscious again, get me out of this.
So entering the bliss without the awareness.
Exactly. Without the now, right here, okay.
Well, see, I still have trouble if I get really there. Then I go to sleep.
It's all right.
I go to sleep.
Some people disagree, but this is my experience. I was told that it's soul school, and that if I go to sleep, there's no control over that I'm taken, and that God comes and, not God in that way, but for lack of better words, but consciousness comes in, knocks the personality out if the mind is overactive, and just knocks them out, puts them to sleep, and goes to work at the soul level. That's why when you return, you're quieter, stiller, because you were not, just taken. And then when you come back, and at a calmer state. So I don't worry about people going to sleep, because when consciousness knocks you out, it just knocks you out. It wants to shut you off, So I wouldn't worry about it. You won't fall asleep when you don't need to. If you fall asleep, it's because you need to, and you just have to trust your process. Nelson one night fell asleep, fell right on the chair. We were up at the beach, and I was at one meditation, there was a man in the front row, he fell right out on the floor. I woke him up, but you know, some people think you're sleeping. I don't think you're sleeping. I think you're in soul school, and I think that human stuff is just knocked out. But.
You know, just before I began to expand, I saw, was like...
Bye, girls.
Bye, thank you. I felt as though I saw like a outline of a body sort of just go poof.
Very possible.
And now I just kept going.
Yeah. Well, see, we get aware, and like I say, the difference in what I was originally taught through a lot of the New Age movements were that it's in the body, you know, that they say, oh, God's within, and so you get the impression that God's within this body. And then through Joel and through experience, I got to seeing that I'm sitting here looking out or looking at the body, and that this body is simply my consciousness, and that rather than me being in it, the body is in my consciousness. And so you probably had that experience of that body just dropping out of your consciousness because you got into, just as it will do, as you know, we come in and out of the physical form lifetime after lifetime after lifetime. We pick up, and when we pick it up, we manifest, but we're coming out of that consciousness. So it's a reverse of what I was, you know, my understanding has developed from that. And now I'm more and more aware. It's like I'm looking out at myself. You're looking out, you know, like right now. I mean, you can, there's just this strange sense. And that's what, you had mentioned healing. And that's what that healing is that awareness that nothing can out-picture but my state of consciousness. Everything out here is out-picturing from that state of awareness, from that state of consciousness. And the higher developed I can get, the healing, you know, transpires. Or it's just unnecessary, like our friend Robert, it was unnecessary to manifest healing. You know, he just wasn't interested in his bodily form at all. It just wasn't important. You know. Kind of interesting. And was it Rajneesh that had cancer?
Pardon me? That's not liver cancer, but
yeah, and
he
Joel
used to have holes in his teeth.
Right.
Clear through.
Right.
And
never.
If you tried to imagine the pain that would cause in your average person.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not there yet.
Oh, he was smiling away with those.
Yeah, it's like walk on the water, take the boat. I still take the boat. Yeah. Yeah, and
yeah, he also had Parkinson's.
Yeah, that's right. How are you doing, you?
I'm good. What's one thing that's fascinating to me that you say is your effect, the effect that you can have, say, on children in an airplane, or the people where you work. You know.
Everywhere. Everything is an out-picturing of my state of consciousness.
Tell me again.
And now, I'm not talking about controlling anything. I'm talking about me being peaceful enough to recognize the presence of God there and now. I'm not ever to pick it up and use this. This is not what I'm saying. I mean, I don't consciously say I'm going to quiet that child. No. That's, I've got to always come from a posture of humility, of being willing to be used, not use it. And that's why it's taken so many generations, because we haven't been in that position so long. People want to pick it up. We got a power now. over something, and that is not it. I am powerless. My whole stature is one of, I am my own self and nothing. I am powerless. The only thing I can do is become consciously aware of the truth that the presence of God is here in this silence, and watch the calm permeate that around me. You know?
That's all you're doing.
That's all I'm doing.
Situations.
That's all I'm doing. Yeah. And I do pour it out. And one correction I had really staunchly one time was when working with others, you know, there's that tendency of wanting to be comfortable and non-disturbed yourself, like if a child's is crying, or we had a neighbor that was really acting out really badly about once a month, getting drunk, making noise, and he was a very large man, and we lived out in a mobile home park with a lot of older people, and everyone was afraid of him, and he'd get out there and carry on 1 o'clock in the morning and zoom his motorcycle and tear through the park, and it was a very quiet place, you know. Have you heard this story, Michael? And his name was Ed, and he was a big black man, and it was a pretty much white community, and all that meant was that they were afraid, you know, the older people were afraid of him. And I was afraid of him, but I had so much fun. I was trying to get my husband to go quiet him down. He wouldn't go, and I was just, no, we're going to handle it. So I noticed I started doing what I was taught in my program, which was to pray for the person. And so this went on 2 or 3 times, and I would pray for Ed. I would just go, quiet that son of a, but it was always, you know, and I get on my knees and do it. And one day I'm walking across the floor, and it started, and I was just as if somebody yanked me up by the scruff of my neck and shook me and said, "You're not praying for him. You're praying for yourself to be safe and non-disturbed. When are you going to pray for him? Here's the prayer. God, Ed is in trouble. Help him." I'm getting chills right now. It was such a lesson. And I got that I didn't give a hoo-ha about that man. I was interested in Dulcie getting to sleep. And I mean, I was in tears. And I went, "Oh, you're absolutely right." And I started blessing this man and saying, "Father, this man's in trouble here." And I do this with children are crying too. I say, you know, this child's in trouble here. And just help me to recognize that right there where that person is acting out is the presence of you. And you are that. And it happened maybe 1 or 2 more times, and this is after about a 3-year period of this man. He was almost like he was at a period about every 30 days. This man had to go on a drunk, you know. And all of a sudden, it stopped. And all of a sudden, I noticed Sunday mornings, the wife and the kids used to scream, and he would be in there. I don't think he was beating them, but it was just horrible. And all of a sudden, the van would pull out Sunday morning. They'd be all dressed up, and he'd be in a shirt and tie. A few weeks went by, and this man started going to church. And it never happened again. 2 years passed. Nelson and I were in Sedona, and Nelson had a very, very bad accident. He fell off the mountain. A rock broke and hurled him. I was present. And that's another story. This is how I practice this. This is when this rock is breaking, we're hiking, he's going down, head over heels, and I'm standing there, and I got into that awareness right now, and I yelled, "Nelson, go straight to God." And I just held that presence, and I never had reaction one. I held that. I got myself down to the body. I got help. I found a helicopter came, got him, da-da-da. It was this whole thing. And what would have killed him ended up being a broken foot. But and I stayed in that silence. I stayed right in this moment, right here, right now, through the whole thing. And he had a concussion, and he was pouring blood. And by the time I reached him, he had stopped bleeding. And I come back home. I'm bringing him home 6 weeks later, back to the trailer. And Ed's standing across the street. And I'm getting Nelson out of the car and with crutches and everything. And Ed comes across the street and he says, I heard about your accident, and I just want you to know I've been praying for you.
Oh, God.
And I'll never forget. What, I'll never forget. I now, when I pray for somebody, I pray for them, not for me. And I pray for them to get the help they need, and know that I don't know what that is. I know.
But God cannot do this himself. He had to have your help. You had to be there. You had to be his arms. Is that how it goes?
I don't know. Barbara says the only way that God needs instruments of recognition, and that God is always present, but only when recognized. Someone has to recognize. I don't know, I don't intellectually know, but he is using all of us as instruments of his recognition, And then again, there's no separation.
But this
It is us.
This man didn't get any help until you did something.
Well, I don't
And maybe
know.
there is no Ed, and maybe it's just in her thing, the jig, and now it's in ours. And I don't know, but I'm in love with Ed, and I don't know him or you.
Yeah, and that's right, and I'll never forget that.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah. Well, I was corrected. Oh, children and the lovely ones, thank you for coming and being
Thank
with
you.
me.
Oh, yes, Dulcie, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for this.
Thank you. Nice to see you.
I just forgot your last name, and I just wrote
Yes,
your name.
I would work.
First name,
You came so far.
Yeah.
Barbara lives right next door.
Yes, I know. Oh, you came out, we came together.
Oh, you did? And I met you before.
Nope, never.
Where from? How do you know this guy?
Carmen.
Carmen. Oh, I see. I got it. That's how we got it. Yeah. Oh, and Patricia loved her massage.
Oh,
She loved it. She usually comes to these. Yeah, she usually comes, but she's working today. Seinfeld shop today. So, yeah.
We're not supposed to be here tomorrow.
What?
We're not supposed to come tomorrow.
Come where?
It's 9 o'clock.
Tomorrow. I couldn't get. Oh, I presented it to the proper authorities. She said she'd get back to me.
Okay.
She didn't, but she said she gets requests every other day.
Oh, really?
And that she didn't want, she had been avoiding it.
Oh.
Because so many people have so many friends doing this. And she said, we'll get back. I'm having a sense that it's not going to happen until next season. We only have 2 more shows.
That's cool.
This week and next, but I've got if it goes back, I've got the little nudge in there. And
Either way,
bye, Freddie.
doesn't make
Do I have your address and stuff?
I'm going to Germany, so forget about it.
Join me in the silence.
Yes, I will.
Bye.
Have fun.
So no,
Good. I just want to make
but
sure
she-
we were supposed to be there.
Yeah. Did you go and work on Luciana?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good, because she was having a terrible time. Really good. Yeah. She needed it. Yeah. I know.
A blessing for us.
Good. I'm glad you could go.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Good thing we enjoyed it.
Good.
It's
Good.
good to have a chance to be a service. So it's good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if she liked it, but we had a great time.
Oh, I know she did. I know she did. That's good. Well, Patricia loved you. Absolutely loved you. She was really needing it too.
Yeah.
She has a lot of back trouble, and that's why I told her about Michael too. I said, well, Michael's a pro on backs. He's gone through it himself.
Oh,